Hey guys, there's something I want to show you. Look at my Mangave plant. The flower stalk on this one is enormous, and I swear this guy has grown like a foot a day. Super tall. I can't get over it. But Mangave are a cross between Manfreda and agave plants. So they have all of the fast-growing attributes and the interesting color variations on their leaves that a Manfreda would have, and then the really cool structural element of an agave. But when a Mangave flowers, it means that death is near, but not for the entire plant. When a Mangave flowers, like these two are doing right now, this is Pineapple Express and this is Inkblot, once they flower, the mother plant, that's a signal the mother plant is on her way out. Now, if you're lucky when your mother plant flowers, she will have put on, oh, a rabbit just ran in front of me. See, these rabbits are not afraid of me. It just ran out. Oh my gosh. Anyway, as I was saying, Mangave, the rabbits don't touch Mangave, by the way. If rabbits are an issue and you want something that's low maintenance, water-wise, and rabbit resistant, Mangave is your girl. But as I was saying, so once the Mangave flowers, if you're lucky, it'll produce a ton of pups. And so you'll have all those pups that you can salvage and grow on for other parts of your garden or containers in the future. But the mother plant is coming to an end. Mangaves are hardy in zones 9 to 11, and there are a few that are more cold hardy. There's one in particular called Bad Hair Day, which that is on my list of things to get because I think it's really a cool plant. But that one's hardy to zone 7. And even so, I live in a zone 6A, so I still have to bring them in. And I've found that over the last several years, I've had them probably about 5 years, I've experimented with them in south-facing windows. They do well as houseplants. South-facing windows are under grow lights for the winter time, and they spend their 6 months of the year indoors, and then I slowly acclimate them to outdoor temperatures once the days start warming up in the springtime. But you'll notice when you bring these guys in as well, the color will change on them. Like Pineapple Express has all these red splotches all over the leaves. Once they come inside, and Inkblot does too, but once you bring them inside, that leaf coloring goes away and it starts to look pretty muddy, and it's totally normal. It's not dying. Once you acclimate it to light again, outside natural light, all of that coloration will return, which is the beautiful part of an Mangave. I just think they're the coolest, most water-wise, interesting plants out there, and I really do love this plant. So I'm glad that it's produced many more babies. Now, what I would not advise you doing is growing them in what's called a belly pot. So this is, I made the mistake of, this was a Mother's Day present years ago, made the mistake of planting my very small at the time Pineapple Express Mangave in a belly pot, and she got enormous, so that's going to be a huge challenge. And what I'm going to do with this one is just cut the flower off of it and bring this plant, bring the whole thing in. I'm not going to separate the baby from this yet because I want the baby to absorb as much nutrients from the mother plant as possible before I go ahead and cut it off. So all I got to do is cut the stem off of that. Let me show you the other one that I have actually growing in the landscape. This one is Silver Fox, and I think it's my favorite because I really love the lavender tint to the leaves, and then it is kind of toothy too, so it's got prickles on the end, much like the agave would. But I really loved it because I enjoyed the juxtaposition of the alyssum because it's so soft and small and fluffy looking next to this very sculptural, kind of rigid architectural shape of the Mangave. So I really enjoyed this combination, but I can't leave it outside. So I've got to dig it up and put it in a container and put it in a south-facing window or under some grow lights for the winter time. So I've got to get this out of here and get it ready for winter. When I'm potting up my Mangave or any other type of cactus or succulent, I like to use a cactus mix, which has plenty of sand in it, so that's got really good drainage. And just add a little bit to the bottom of the can and drop my Mangave in. Silver Fox is one of the more pricklier ones, and for that reason I like to put gloves on as I'm filling the pot because they can catch you. So for Inkblot here, I am just going to cut the flower stalk off. And then I'll put it under my grow lights or in a south-facing window, wherever I have room, and let this pup grow on and get a little bigger before I separate it from the mother plant. Now for the big guy. I can't even imagine how many pups I'm going to get off of this, but I'm going to have way more Mangave than I have room for in the house. So I'm going to be giving these away and hopefully rehoming them with people who will appreciate how easy a Mangave is to take care of. So, but first I'm going to take this flower stalk off. Look at that, pretty cool. Now that the flower is gone, I'm going to start pulling apart this plant. I'm going to lay the pot on its side. I don't want to ruin this pot because it was a Mother's Day gift from my husband and our girls. So I'm going to lay this on the side to protect the paint. Now the pups are kind of difficult to separate from the mother plant only because of the type of pot that it's in. So I'm just clearing away any of the dead stuff so that I can get a better look at what's in here. And there's a lot of spiders in here too, so this also helps because I'll be able to clean things up really well before I take it in. Now listen, you'll hear a snap. All right, and then all I'll do is clear away any of the dead yellowing leaves underneath, and hopefully I'll come away with some roots at the bottom of it, and you can see the roots coming off of it here. Now I'm going to treat these like I would any other succulent when I'm transplanting them and let them callus over. So I'm not going to plant these right away. I'm just going to let the wound that I've created when I separate it from the mother plant callus over, toughen up, and then I'm going to go ahead and transplant. So I'll let these sit out on the countertop probably for 2 days, and then put them in some succulent soil. Water them a little bit. The key to these, and any house plant for that matter, especially in the wintertime, is not over loving them. So you don't want to overwater because that is the kiss of death for these guys. So I'll go in once a month and kind of top it off with a little bit of water. Just, you don't want to saturate it and have it soaking wet and have water coming out of the drainage hole. You want to just water sparingly because too much water will kill these guys. The nice thing about Mangave is they can take a little bit more water and they will get bigger based on how much water and fertilizer they're receiving. But I don't want them to get much bigger than this because it's really difficult to store them indoors in the wintertime if they're too big. And you're left with a perfect little plant like that. Perfect pup with roots on it. Doesn't this look so much better with just one plant in there? That's the mother plant, and you can see the flower stalk here. So the biggest challenge now is getting her out of this. Let me show you how many babies I got from her. I got 13 pups from the mother plant, and all of them they're pretty substantial plants. Not bad. Once I've taken all the pups off, there are a couple different things I can do. I can either pot them up right now, or I can let them callus over, which is how I prefer to do it with my succulent. So I like to let the end form a callus so it kind of seals up, toughens up, and then I go ahead and plant. So I'll let it sit out on the countertop for a couple days and then plant. You could also plant them right now and drop it into a container. It's just the perfect size. So it's going to go in the container and you're going to backfill with whatever potting soil you like. I prefer to use a cactus soil. And then what you're not going to do is water them right away. You're going to kind of let these sit for a couple weeks before you offer it water, because if you water this, the plant could rot and then you've got no Mangave. So you could just let it sit. I mean, it's already a perfect looking little plant. Look at that. So cool. So I can just let it hang out like this and then give it a couple weeks and then start offering water. But I'm also going to make sure I store these under my grow lights so that it's getting proper light as well. Now you can see why planting in a belly pot is not the best situation, because you can see the taper here. And when a plant has been in a pot as long as this one has, this has probably been in here for about 4 years, all of those roots have filled in this entire bowl, and she's really in there. It's like cement in there. So I'm gonna have to be very careful about how I remove this plant. And I love Mangave. They're super easy if you're the kind of person who does not like to water constantly, likes things that look kind of sculptural, architectural, with really interesting shapes and cool. You can see the interesting leaf patterns on this one in particular. Mangave is a great, great plant, and even after she flowers, all is not lost. The mother plant dies, but then you're left with so many babies and she lives on. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.